everyone, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jenny, and this is where I talk about all things knitting, my finished objects, works in progress, and sometimes my future plans. And yeah, today I have a standard podcast episode, and I have, I think, 5 finished objects and 4 works in progress. So there's quite a bit to show. It was a busy summer, so I didn't actually get around to filming much of anything. I think it's been about 2 months, possibly 2.5, maybe 3 months since the last time I uploaded. So today I am just going to get right into it. And I'll start with what I'm wearing, which is my first finished object. And this is the Fleur Cami, and this is a pattern by Brianna Mason. And I'm going to do my best to get some photos or videos and put it up on the screen so I can show you a little bit better. But this is it. It's got this really nice lace and kind of like a broken rib, or yeah, it's like a little mini broken rib there. But yeah, so this pattern was interesting because I knit the majority of it within a week, and this is knit with very thin yarn on very tiny needles. So this is the yarn, technically the thread that I used. It is Maurice Broussard Cottolin. It is 40% linen and 60% cotton, and it is, what does it say? Oh, it doesn't say exactly what the weight of it is, but essentially this is, I want to say it's essentially a lace, not quite a lace weight, but it's got to be like a super light fingering to a lace weight, because I used 2.5 millimeter needles for this, and I knit a size medium because at the time the only cords that I had, or the only cord that I had for my Chiagu interchangeable set was big enough, or it was too big to fit the size small on the needles. So I knit a size medium, and initially it was looking okay, but by the time I got to splitting the front and the back, but by the time I got to the point where I was making the triangles, I realized that there's quite a bit of positive ease, and I think in the pattern it actually calls for 0 to negative ease, I think. Possibly, but initially when I cast it on, I was like, oh, well, I'll just knit a size up because I didn't want it to be that close to my body. But now that it's finished, you can kind of see how it's kind of drooping under the arms, and I think that's also to do with, I could have made my straps a little bit shorter. The modifications I made to this pattern was essentially I think instead of doing an I-cord strap, I did a double knit strap, and I think it was only a 5 or 6 stitch strap, and I think in the pattern I think it has 2 options. You either do 3 or a 3 stitch or a 5 stitch, and I think if I was to do, well, I am working on this again. I'm gonna do an even wider strap, possibly I think this is a 5 stitch strap, and so I might do a 7 or 9 stitch strap because it is pretty thin, and you can see my bra strap, but that's okay. I'm wearing a pretty light colored bra, so it's not terribly noticeable. But yeah, so this, like I said, I knit the majority of it in a week, and then I put it away for, oh gosh, it had to have been a month. I was working on this at the end of, was it the end of July? And I just finished it, or was it the end of June? No, I think it was the end of July. I was working on this, and I finished it about a week or 2 ago. I think it was 2 weekends ago. And it's blocked, and it turned out really nice. The length, though, I think I followed the length in the pattern, but I think I would rather it be an extra inch. So making it again, I'm going to be knitting it a little bit longer. But yeah, so that is what I'm wearing. And also, I'm so in love with this color. I feel like this color looks really good against my skin tone. So, and there's so much left on here. I haven't weighed this, but I imagine I would be able to get another one of these, or Brianna Mason, I think this past summer, released a t-shirt version of this pattern, and I think there should be more than enough on here to knit that. So yeah, that's my first finished object and what I'm wearing. And the next thing I'm going to talk about is my other finished objects. Alright, so this summer I finished 5 knitting projects, and one was a flop, unfortunately. And so I'll talk about that one first. So that is the Prairie Grove by Samantha Stadter. And I made quite a few modifications to this pattern. And, oh yeah, the yarn that I use for this is this one here, one of a kind, Pollyanna Natural. And it says it is, what is it? A mix of polyester, flax, and silk, but it doesn't say the percentage of each one, so I imagine it must be more polyester than silk and flax, which is unfortunate, but I think that's part of the reason why this didn't turn out the way I was hoping to. Had I made a gauge swatch, I probably could have avoided this, but I did not. So this is basically me reaping what I sow. And yeah, so this is the Prairie Grove, and it's definitely different. It looks different from the actual pattern, but the reason why this is a flop is because this back, it looks okay on camera, or like it looks okay right now, but this part is rolling up quite terribly. In the pattern it just says to bind off, so I bound off and it's just rolling a lot. And I think that has a lot to do with the fabric, and I think it was more, if it was more of the plant fiber, like more silk and flax, I think it would lay more flat. It also has to do with the stitch pattern. It's just stocking it straight into binding off, so basically when I put this on, it rolls way up the back. It just wants to roll up, and it like flares out from my back, so it's not a very good look. But the lace on the front, because it's got this garter stitch and eyelet at the bottom, it's not flaring out like it is in the back. So there's a few things that I would do differently here, but first I'll talk about the modifications I made. So this pattern is supposed to be knit flat in pieces and then you seam it together, but I wanted to knit it in the round, and so I basically knit the back panel and then the front left and right, and then connected it under the arms. And I did like a purl one, slip stitch purl one to kind of give it a little bit of a faux seam on the sides, but I think because of the nature of the yarn itself, this is blocked and it just wants to cinch in a lot. So that's why I'm thinking there's a lot more polyester in this than I anticipated. It's probably like 5% silk and 5% flax or something. So it didn't quite turn out the way I would have liked it to. The other modification I made is, I say this is a finished object, but I didn't weave in the ends. That's because I was anticipating having to rip it out, so don't mind all the ends that are hanging out. Anyways, the other modification I made was to the neckline. I think in the neckline it says to just knit a row and then bind off, but I ended up doing a very small folded hem. Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm trying to get all these ends out of the way so you can see better. So I basically knit, I think it was maybe 8 rows, and then I sewed it down. This is basically the same neckline that is used in T number 1 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I do like the way that it turned out. I think it gives a lot more structure to the top part. So I'm really happy with this whole top part of the pattern. But yeah, I don't like the sleeves either. It's the same thing. It's curling up. In the pattern it says to just knit and then bind off. So yeah. And then also the other thing is, I'm pretty sure the pattern had a split hem, but I completely forgot about that, and I continued working in the round on the whole body with the lace and everything, so that's my bad. I didn't quite read the pattern thoroughly enough the first time. But yeah, so the changes, okay, so this is done. This is done for now. I'm gonna put it in my pile of things to be frogged or fixed, and what I plan on doing is, I still have yarn left over, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo the cast off or the bind off on the sleeves, and I think I'm going to do either a folded hem or just ribbing to make it sit flat. And then there's two options I can do on the body, where I can take out the last 10 rows, I pick out the bind off and undo the last 10 rows up to the garter stitch here, the garter stitch and eyelets, and I will just do that all the way around. So that would hopefully stop the rolling on the back. And then that would be fix number 1. Fix number 2 would be I would rip all the way back to before the lace here and split the front and the back and knit the lace on the front and knit the lace on the back. And then that way I would know for sure it won't roll because of the garter stitch eyelet detail on the bottom. But yeah, unfortunately I did not wear this at all. Well, I didn't even weave in the ends because I had a feeling it wasn't going to turn out. Had I done a gauge swatch, I might have made some adjustments, and also had I read the pattern thoroughly the first time about the split hem. Yeah, that's where I kind of messed up, because I'm pretty sure in the schematics it shows to start sewing up about 2 inches from the bottom, but that's okay. Yeah, okay. The next finished object is a big one, and this one is one that I am super excited about. And this is the Roving Summer Wrap, and this is a pattern by Irene, and it's gonna be really hard to show on the camera because it is so big. So I'm gonna again try and get some pictures or some video footage. But this is an all over lace kind of summer wrap essentially. And there is a belt that goes with it. You can tie it, it basically ties through the armholes, and you can tie it in the front or the back. And oh gosh, it's so big. Yeah. I'm very short, so it comes down to like my calves basically. But yeah, it's at the top here, it's got this lace pattern that goes all the way down to the bottom here. And then the pattern switches up to like this chevron with a kind of like an eyelet and cross stitch. It's like a slip stitch that you cross over two stitches, and then you yarn over on the next row to get the 3rd stitch back. But I really like the way that this turned out. It's really, really cool pattern. And I made 2 modifications to this, I believe. One modification was, or actually I guess it's technically 1 modification altogether. Oh, my belt is falling out. Oh, sorry. Okay, so basically the pattern has you do this garter stitch border essentially. This is like a part of the pattern. You don't go back and pick this up, but on the sleeves you do go back and pick up to make the armhole. And I did a 2x2 broken rib. It's kind of blowing out, but it's a 2x2 broken rib on the sleeves, and I did that on the bottom as well. Oh yeah, I guess I did 2 modifications because I changed the belt as well. Oh yeah, so I did the 2x2 broken rib at the bottom as well. I'm pretty sure in the pattern it just has you do garter stitch, and I didn't really like the way that the garter stitch looked. I think if I were to knit this again, I would probably find a way to knit this without the garter stitch band, and then I would go back and pick up, it's got to be like hundreds of stitches, and do a 2x2 broken rib again, because I think it looks nicer. I think it goes really well with especially the pattern at the bottom. The other modification I made, sorry, I'm like, this is so unwieldy. I'm trying to move it around so I can show you. The other modification I made was for the belt. It has you do one thing where you hold the 2 yarns together. I think it's like an I-cord, but I ended up making a double knit band, or double knit belt, and I believe I did 10 stitches or 8 stitches, but essentially it's just a double knit belt. I liked I wanted the look of a flat belt instead of a rounded one that an I-cord would give. And so yeah, this looks super cute. I have an outfit that I put together this summer with this, and I'm gonna try and get like pictures here, but unfortunately I didn't bring the boots that I would wear with this, or I didn't bring my skirt that I normally wear with this either. That's okay, but you'll get the gist of it essentially. But yeah, it was a really fun knit. I really enjoy knitting lace. It was certainly a long knit. I think I started this in the spring. It had to have been the spring. But I'm just gonna put that on the table there. But yeah, so it was definitely a labor of love. Oh yeah, right. The yarn that I used for it is a cone of yarn that I got from Kensington Prairie Farm. So this is what I have left of the cone, and like originally it was 903 grams, and I haven't weighed this yet, but I imagine there's not a whole ton left on there, maybe 50 grams left. But yeah, maybe 50 grams. But yeah, this is how much is left. Essentially, this was like a very wide cone, lots of yarn on it. And this is, does it say on here? It is 35% alpaca and 65% organic cotton. So it has a little bit of warmth to it, but like from the alpaca, but I think there's enough cotton in it. It's a very heavy garment too, but there's enough cotton in it that I felt like, except for really hot days, I was able to at least wear this as like a fashion accessory or a fashion garment, but not terribly something that I could wear all day because it would, on a hot day, because it would be too hot. But I imagine I'll be getting a lot of wear out of it again in the spring and the early summer next year. But yeah, so that's that finished object. I've got two more. So the next finished object is the outline tee, and this is a design by Jessie May Designs. And I knit this out of, well actually wait, I'll talk about the yarn first before I show it. I knit this out of Holskarn Coast. So this is out of the colorway Blackcurrant, and the yarn composition is 55% lamb's wool and 45% cotton. And this is yarn that I picked up, this is yarn that I picked up at Knit City, like my first Knit City back in like 2017 or 2018. And I finally got a use for it. So this is the outline tee. It looks really good. I really like this color. It's like a heathered purple with, it's like a gray purple essentially. But I really like the stitch definition on this. And I really enjoyed knitting this pattern. It was really quick to knit up. I'm pretty sure I used the recommended needle size. And the Holskarn really, I don't know, like, it wasn't like rough to work with, but it feels like it softened up with blocking. And the stitches really filled out. Like, the stitch definition looks so uniform now. I mean, not that it didn't look uniform before, but it looks even better now. It just, I don't know, it came together so perfectly. And yeah, so I knit this two patterns. So I knit it to the length that it recommended. If I were to knit this again, I would knit it just maybe an inch longer before I split for the sleeves, or the front and back. I think this is this is worked bottom up, and then at the very end you seam all the shoulders, and then you drop all the stitches, and then you weave in your ends. It specifically says in the pattern not to weave in your ends until you've dropped all the stitches, just in case you happen to weave through one of the stitches that needs to be dropped. And I'll show you the back. So there's a drop stitch, there's two drop stitches on the back, and then there's two drop stitches on the side of the shoulder sleeve, and then on the front middle from the shoulders up here all the way down to the bottom. So it was a really fun pattern. I would absolutely knit it again, and I would knit it again in this Holskarn as well. I really like the way that it feels. I like the way that it worked up. This used just over one of the little cakes that these come in. And so I have enough left over for, well, honestly, not much. It's, I mean, yeah, I might be able to get like a little, well, maybe I can get some fingerless mitts out of it, but we'll see. I have some left over of the coast in a gray color as well, so maybe I will use the two of them to make maybe a colorwork mittens or something. But I really enjoyed that pattern. I got to wear it a couple times this summer. I usually would wear it with shorts, and like I said, if I was to knit it again, I would make it maybe an inch or two longer, maybe probably 2 inches longer, so I could tuck it into my shorts, like do the French tuck thing or whatever. So, but as it is right now, it just is, it is what it is. I can't tuck it in, so it just kind of stays over my shorts. Anyways, the last finished object that I have, I actually knit, what was that, 2 weeks ago? I picked up some yarn, and I got really gung-ho about the pattern and knit it in 5 days, and it took 2 days to block, so technically it took me a week to finish this. So this is called Ferndell, and this is by Nadia Crétin-Léchenne. My pronunciation is not the best, I'm sorry. But this is the cardigan. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Look at that. Oh my gosh, look at those cables. It looks so crisp. It looks so good in this yarn. So the yarn that I used is Haynes Creek Heathers by Gathering Yarns. I've never heard of this yarn before, but I went to a new to me yarn shop, and they had a handful of different colors of this, and I really liked this is like a charcoal gray. I wonder if it says it just says color number 104, but it's like this charcoal black, sorry. So I've discovered that straight black, like just plain black, kind of washes me out, but this kind of more charcoal black works well for me. And so I bought six skeins of this yarn, anticipating that I would have to break into the 6th one just a little bit. But I ended up using just under 6 skeins, so I think it was, just under 5 skeins. No, I used 4 skeins and then probably 80 grams of the 5th skein. I'm pretty sure I have about 20 grams left. But I knit the size small on the recommended needles. But wow, look at this stitch definition. It just looks so good. So this pattern has no cables on the back or the sleeves, which I like. I think that actually makes it look more timeless, I guess, or more, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love all over lace, cabled, baubles, whatever, like that looks great, but I think this is something more of a staple piece in my wardrobe that I'm going to be able to wear with more outfits. So yeah. I can't stop looking at this. It looks so good. And then also the buttons, I'm so excited about these buttons. Let's see if I can show them. So I've had these buttons for over a decade. I had a thing for buying buttons when I was crocheting scarves a long time ago. And so I have a collection of buttons in my little storage tower over there. And so when this finished blocking, I think it was it Labor Day? So the fabric store was closed, so I was like, I don't want to wait another day to have to go to get buttons. And so I went through my stash of buttons, and I found I had 6 of these, so I only used 5. But it's got like this kind of swirly, not quite Celtic knot look to it. And I feel like it kind of adds to the overall look without taking away from the cables. I just think it looks super elegant. And I've already put together a couple of outfits with this cardigan, and I really like it, and I would absolutely knit this again. Especially, like, I would knit it again in this yarn as well, because it was so nice to work with, and it feels really nice. It is 100% Peruvian. I think it says 100% pure Highland wool spun in Peru. And it feels really nice. It's not itchy, it's not scratchy or anything. I don't feel like I can't wear it next to skin. I put together an outfit with a cami and this, and so like it was mostly against the skin on my arms and like on my neck and stuff, and I didn't find it scratchy at all. So I'm really excited about that, and I would actually really like to knit it again in another color. I'm going back to that yarn shop next month. No, not next month, in 2 weeks. And so I'm probably going, I mean, I know I don't want to be picking up more yarn, but I do need to pick up yarn for another project, so maybe I'll put this one on hold. I won't knit another one. I do have future plans for the fall. Anyways, so that's all my finished objects for the summer. Yeah, I didn't get as much knitting done as I wanted to because I just got caught up with friends and family. Lots of time with friends and lots of time with family this summer, which is, I'm not complaining. It was really nice. And yeah, I'm looking forward to having a little bit more time this fall to get some knitting done. But yeah, so let's talk about my works in progress. My first work in progress is another Fleur Cami by Brianna Mason, and this one is knit in the same yarn, so the Maurice Broussard Cottolin, and this one is in a different color. So this one is in this kind of like army green almost. I feel like this is another color that's definitely in my wheelhouse, and so I wouldn't say maybe I'm about halfway through the body. Hold on, how many repeats do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I'm just about halfway through the body, so maybe like a third of the way through the whole thing. But this is how much I have. And now that I have the right size cords, I can knit the size small. So I'm hoping that, like I said, this one has so much positive ease. Like this has about like a couple, like an inch or two positive ease, or I'm not entirely sure. I didn't actually measure it, but anyway, so I knit the size down. I've knit the size small here, and I even went down a needle size to 2.25. So these are quite small needles. These are my Xiaogu interchangeable mini set. So it's the little tiny needles here. I'm not really fast at knitting with these because I find that I think these are 3-inch. Yeah, these are the 3-inch tips. And I find that with the 4-inch tips, I think 4 inch is like my sweet spot. But with the 4-inch tips, I'm able to leverage the sides of my hands here. And so it's easier for me to like get going with knitting. But with the 3-inch tips, I don't have that leverage there because that's where the cord starts. And so it's just a little bit harder for me to get going with the knitting. So it's a little bit of a slower process, but I don't mind. So this is what it's looking like so far. I think I like the gauge. I mean, the gauge doesn't look a whole lot different, but when this is blocked, I think it'll look really nice because it's a little bit bunched up on the needles. But yeah, I really like this color. I really am enjoying this pattern, and I do think that like there's so much on here. I think I might, in the spring, I might cast on for the t-shirt version of the Fleur Cami, or I guess it's called like the Fleur t-shirt maybe. I'm not sure, but the Fleur tee maybe. Anyways, yeah. So this is what I've got so far, and I think, like I said, I wanted to add another, probably like inch or two, but yeah. Not much else to say about this. The only modifications, like I said before, that I might make are the straps. I will make what did I do? I did 5 on this, so I might do a 7 or a 9 stitch strap. So yeah, that's work in progress number 1. Work in progress number 2 is a project I have not touched in a while, and I'm not sure where it was when I last showed it, but this is Vilna. And this is by Natalie Pelykh. And this is also knit in the same Maurice, well no, sorry, it's Maurice Broussard, but this is the organic cotton. So that's this one here. So this is a little bit thicker. This is more of a fingering weight, I would say. So this is a little bit thicker. And I wonder if I have the tag, but this is how much I have on the cone. I don't have much knitting left to do on this, but let me just see if I've got the tag in here. Do I have the tag? No, I do not. Oh, yeah, I do. So this is 100% cotton, yeah. And this is the tag for it. You can see. There we go. So anyways, I have knit the body and I have split the front and the back. Oh, no, wrong way. And now that I've split the front and the back, I've realized that I knit a size too big, but that's okay. So this is what I got so far. It comes down to, I think, my knees. I think it's like just below my knees, or maybe it's just above my knees. But in any case, I originally cast on for the 36-inch bust, and I have since realized that I am not a 36-inch bust. I am smaller than that, so this is going to have a couple inches of positive ease, but that's fine. So I think, like, when I put it up like this, I guess that's where the underarms are. So it might be okay. It might be okay. But I have split for the front and back, and I'm just working on the lace on the front. And then it's got lace on the bottom, which I think will hopefully block out to look a little bit more even. But yeah, I kind of lost steam on this because of where I am in the pattern. Basically, the pattern has been relatively easy to follow so far. It's a lot of, like, the charts were a bit much to follow, but it has the instructions written out, because the charts are kind of intimidating. I normally am okay with charts, but this one was, for the lace pattern, it was just not intuitive at all. It was difficult lace for me, which is, I would say, not usual. I'm usually pretty good at lace, but I guess certain types of lace are a little bit more complicated for me because I haven't knit it as much. Anyways, so where I am in the pattern, I have to knit some lace up to a certain number of inches, and then you split for the front, or sorry, you split for the left and the right, but in the pattern it doesn't tell you exactly when to do that in terms of like the row, because it's different for every size. So it's basically, you knit to this many inches for this size and that, you know, this, that, and the other thing, and then you split. And then, so basically I have to do a little bit of thinking myself of like, do I, like, if I split on row 38 and then I have to start decreasing in pattern, so I have to think about the lace pattern and how to keep the lace pattern going when I decrease, because it's not written out line for line, not that I remember seeing. So it's just just something that I have to sit down and work out myself. But I think once I get the front done, the back will be easy, because the back is just 2 panels, left and right, and then it's got like a button placket at the back. So I think, sorry if you can hear apparently the landscapers are out across the street again, so sorry if you can hear that. But anyways, I only have a couple more projects to get through. But yeah, so the Vilna, I don't think I'll have it done in time for the warm weather, because today is kind of a gloomy day. It's not quite raining, but it is misting out. So I'm thinking we might get a handful more sunny days, like more hot days, but I don't think I'm going to have that dress done in time, but we'll see. It's not really at the forefront of my knitting mojo at the moment. So anyways, the next work in progress is something super exciting because it is almost done. I just bounded off the needles last night. However, I have not weaved in the ends and I have not blocked it, so I'm putting it in my works in progress section. But this is Priscilla, and this is by Marzena Kołaczek, and this is very modified. I basically did not have enough yarn. Oh my gosh, those guys with the weed whacker. Anyways, I'm just gonna continue. So I bought 4 balls of yarn from Midnight Cravings at Knit City last year, and I bought their Comfort Sport DK. So Midnight Cravings, I bought 4 skeins, and I don't know how I messed this up. I think I thought it was more yardage than it was, and so the pattern I initially wanted to knit was not going to work for it, and then I thought I could do the Priscilla, but as you can see, it is very cropped. Yeah, but this is an all over lace and cable and baubles. Sorry, there we go. Probably better to show it on the back. So the modifications I made to this was not only did I make it shorter, but I also had to add stitches under the underarms to add some width or some circumference to it. And so I added 3 extra cables. I'm pretty sure it was like 3 extra cables. So you can see I decreased out 2 cables here, and then I kept the 3 cables because what happened was I thought I was casting on with the recommended needle size of 4.5 millimeter needles. I'm pretty sure that was recommended, but I somehow cast on with 4 millimeter needles, and I got to the point where I was about to connect under the arms, and I tried it on and I was like, oh no, this is way too small. And I checked my needles again and I was like, oh wow, no wonder my gauge is so small. But it kind of worked out in the end because I only had enough yarn to knit a cropped version of it anyway. Had I knit with a 4.5 millimeter needle, I don't know if I would have had enough yarn, but sorry, I keep like holding it up and putting it down. But yeah, so this is it. It's very cropped. I'm gonna actually, just to show you how it's fitting right now, I made the sleeve, like the sleeves are meant to be a bit shorter. So yeah, I probably could have lengthened the sleeves to make them, I think I had enough yarn to maybe add another inch to the sleeves, but I think I kind of like that this length here. Any longer and I think it would have, yeah, this also isn't blocked yet, so this is superwash yarn, so I imagine it's gonna grow, but you can see it's really cropped. And I don't have the buttons yet because I gotta block it first, but it's got like these short row scallops here almost, and I'm not 100% sold on it because I think I messed up my German short row on these stitches here, but that's okay because that's going to be covered up by this side with this side's going to have the buttons, and then this side has the buttonholes. So essentially it's going to be, I think it looks super cute. I think it'll look really cute over a dress. That's what I anticipate wearing this with, is a dress. I have a number of dresses that it'll look good with, and I also have a number of high-waisted skirts that will be good with this. But yeah, so the other modification I had to make is the pickup rate, or sorry, it doesn't give you a pickup rate for the button band, it just tells you a number of stitches to pick up in certain areas. So I was like, well, you know what, I'm already totally off on that stitch count, and so I just picked up 3 for every 4 stitches all the way around, not realizing that the scallops were a multiple of a number of stitches, and so I ended up with 4 extra stitches. So what I did was I just knit those 4, like you can see right here, those 4 extra stitches, I just knit them in pattern, and then I continued the scallops on the other side, so it's not quite in the middle of the back, but that's fine. I probably could have done 2 and 2. That would have been better spaced, but yeah, so it's got this kind of like scalloped collar. When I block it, I'm going to try and block it out so it's a little bit more pronounced, but I'm really excited. I can't wait. This will probably be what I wear on my next podcast because it should be done by then. But I love this. I love the all over cables and bobbles. This sat on my needles for quite some time, being not worked on because I kind of lost steam on it when I found out that it wasn't really going to fit properly, or that I wasn't going to have enough yarn. And so I decided like 2 days ago to pick it up and just put the stitches on the needles, or sorry, to pick up the armholes or the arms. And that took me a while because I made modifications and I added more stitches under the arm. Like I added 3 more cable repeats. I had to really think about how I was picking up my stitches in order to make it so that the bobble panel was down the middle of the shoulder seam. And so I should have written down the way I did it for the first sleeve, because for the second sleeve I was scratching my brain again thinking like, how many stitches did I pick up again? So it took a couple of times to do that, but other than that, that's fine. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this works out. And yeah, Or I'm excited to see how it blocks out, I should say. So, anyways, that's that. And then my last work in progress is the Faye Summer Top, and this is by Irene. And I am knitting this out of Loops and Threads Silky Soft. So it's 100% rayon from bamboo, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, rayon from bamboo. Oh, the light is kind of blowing it out. There you go. And this is the color Violet. I got 5 skeins of this, and I think I just started my 3rd skein. I am knitting this along with Faith from Fiber Fables and Saoirse from Cozy Soul Knits, and this is how far I've gotten. Ooh, it looks so good. Am I showing you the right side? Yes, that should be the front. The neckline is unfinished at the moment, but this also has lace and cables and baubles, my favorite things, and this is the back. And I haven't worked on this in a while because I kind of lost steam on it because my baubles are not looking the way I want them to. When I'm knitting flat, my baubles look good, but now that I'm in the round, my baubles look a little not so great. I'm trying to figure out how to fix that, but let's see. So this up here, that's the bauble knitted flat, and then this here is the bauble knitted in the round, and you can see there's like this loose stitch right here, and I don't like the way that looks, and I've tried to tighten that stitch, but no matter what I do, it doesn't seem to work. So I don't know, but I'll probably pick this up again in the next couple of days because I would really like to finish this. I still have to do the neckline and then the ruffle sleeves, and then I've probably got another probably 8 inches on the body. I don't remember how long this is supposed to knit for. Maybe it's 10 more inches on the body, but it was going pretty fast when I was working on it. And the yarn is really drapey. It's also very splitty. Like you can see that the plies do not stick together. Because it is a plant fiber, that's just the nature of it. It doesn't want to stick to itself. So that's that. There's not much else to talk about. I do have some future plans, but I think I'm going to save that for another video. This one's already getting pretty long. So I'm hoping the next video I film is my fall plans. I know I'm a little bit late on that, but that should be the next thing that goes up on my channel, so look forward to that. I'm hopefully going to film that today or this week. Anyways, yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about today. Sorry if it felt like I was rushing through it. This is the 3rd time I've filmed this video, so I feel like I've gotten a little bit quicker at talking, but yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave it today. So thank you again for watching and sticking around to the end, and let me know what you've been working on. Leave me a comment and let me know maybe what you're looking forward to this fall or what you have left on your needles for summer knits. And yeah, so that'll be it. Until next time, happy knitting. Bye!